I can't believe it's episode 14 of Draw Your Own Adventure. Let's go. Atop the iceberg, a colony of penguins stands huddled together in the cold. Roger appears to be the only one wearing a name tag. Give the other penguins name tags and perhaps a hat or two. Okay, well, first of all, not taking the name Roger. I know it's cute, but I just really wasn't feeling it for this because I immediately thought of the movie Happy Feet. And this little guy just reminded me of Mumble, so that is who I'm changing it to. And these little penguins are going to be going to Mumble's little show, his Happy Feet show. I don't know, his musical? Sure. So they are invited to his musical. Now, the other issue I had with this is I was not sure if we were going for emperor penguins or if we were going for king penguins. So I had to do some research. For those who don't know the difference, emperor penguins, I'll put a picture up on the screen so you can see. So based on the drawings, I was confused as to whether they were emperor or king, but based on the babies, I was like, well, they have to be emperor penguins because king penguins have actually brown babies. So I was a little stumped on that for a little bit, so I had to do some research as to which I was looking at. Not that it's a big deal, it's really not. It was just me being extra as usual. I feel like I'm constantly being extra about this book, so there's that. But oh my gosh, these like emperor penguins are so freaking cute, okay? They are the most adorable penguins. Their babies are the most adorable babies. I mean, king penguins, like, no offense, but those brown penguins are just, I don't know, all baby animals are cute, but I'm not sure about the king penguin babies. Okay, so now it's time to add little Mumble's name. And then this sweet little girl over here, I'll just use her as Gloria. And this is going to be his mom, and her name is Norma Jean, which is too long, so I just put her initials. And then this is Memphis, and I'll just put Mem. You get the gist, you get the idea. And the rest of them just don't. They're not important enough to have names, okay? And then I'm just going to go in with my water pen and kind of blend all of that out and blend it together. And to be 100% honest, I almost forgot about the hat aspect of this prompt. So I decided to make a few top hats because they're going to a fancy show, okay? So I started to draw it on there, but I was like, well, I already did the black here, so I'm going to do cutouts and add them in as an afterthought. So here they are, but I think that they turned out pretty cute. The two dads, you know, are wearing top hats because they're so fancy penguins. And then I just had to do the highlights, and oh my gosh, Memphis, I really screwed that one up. But anyways, yeah, so doing the final touches of the eye highlights, doing the top hat highlights, and then I also wanted to do some highlights on their little fur? No, feathers? Anyways, yeah, to make it look like they're a little wet or something, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, here's the final page. I think it turned out pretty decent. It took way too long, I'll admit that, like way, way, way too long. So whatever, let's move on. Okay, so this next page, I am supposed to be using all the primary colors. So I have here a few of the primaries with a tad bit of different shading. So the prompt is, leaving the penguins and their name tags further along the iceberg, you find a phone box in the middle of nowhere. It appears to be old and it doesn't work. Using only primary colors for this page to bring the phone box to life. So I started with doing this red because, phone boxes are always red. And then I started adding my yellows to hopefully make it kind of like a browny orange color. Not sure if that got pulled off or not. So I just kept going because, only primaries. And so I thought I would really try and use my blending skills with this page, but yeah, I don't think it came off very well. That's okay. So yeah, just going back and forth with those colors. I added some pencil crayons as well, just to add some depth and 3D-ness to the phone booth. And then I also really did not like the name, I also didn't like the sign phone on there. So I started covering it up, and I'll do layers of that to get that really out of the way. But I really wanted it to say telephone, okay? When I say that I'm being really extra about this book, I mean it. So next I'm just putting in all of the other colors for all of the other objects. I started putting this blue for the shovel, and then I added some red, and I'm like, that's not a good idea. That was definitely not a good idea, so I had to cover it up with blue again. But in my defense, I thought it was going to be purple, okay? And it's just not blending the way I was hoping with these acrylic markers. And this is kind of an afterthought, but realizing that it probably should have been more nighttime style. But again, how was I supposed to do nighttime when I only had the primary colors? So here we are. I think it turned out okay. I'm not in love with it, but I think for what I had to use, I think it turned out pretty decent. All right, time to move on. So for this page, I really wanted to use my Milan Art watercolor paints. And if you're interested in these paints or anything off of their website at all, I'll leave a link in the description below. But I absolutely love these paints. I think that they're so beautiful and so vibrant. So anyways, the prompt says, as soon as you finish coloring the foam box, you find yourself surrounded by hot air balloons. A rescue, perhaps? They're missing their usual beautiful patterns, so use acrylic or watercolor paint to give them animal print designs. Then you hop aboard. Well, I kept thinking about this, and the animal print of cows was really calling me for this one, but I didn't want your boring black and white cows. I needed to make them pink. And they weren't just hot air balloons, they were actual cows being inflated and floating away from their farm, okay? So here I am. Oh my gosh, these sketches took me way too long because I wanted them to blend in and like kind of like reshape into that chubby little cow. And am I making any sense right now? So anyways, you see me doing a few sketches here. It took way longer than what you're seeing, but I finally settled on something because I wanted it kind of cartoony, kind of, you know, cutesy. So hopefully I pulled that off, but then I added in some black to get rid of that line so it looks like it's all one, you know, all one shape. Does that make sense? Anyway, and added little feet and little tails, and of course they're like the little brown things at the bottom there are going to be their udders. And yeah, I just thought it was so cute. I was so dead set on this idea because I could not think of anything more perfect. I don't know, it was just so cute. So then I'm adding in some black liner to finish off the page and adding in a blue sky and a little like grass field. And I think it turned out so cute. I should have probably added some more depth with some like, you know, detailing a little bit and some shading, but I spent way too long on this as well, so whatever, it's fine. I think it turned out pretty cute regardless. All right, and lastly, the next page is the balloon drops you outside a small cafe. Draw candy, cakes, and sweets in the billowing smoke. So I really liked the idea of what Chloe had here of the just white sketch style. I don't know, so I decided to just roll with that. And yeah, I started doing all of my things, and then I started adding all the details on the inside, and I was like, that was kind of a mistake. That wasn't necessary because I'm going to be filling it in with a white pen. So then I had to cover that all up and start again. And I just did I wouldn't say they're all my favorites, but I feel like they were fun to draw and they fit well with the page, okay? But ice cream and ice cream sandwiches and candy apples, yes, please. And anyways, I know it's simple, but I still love the page. And that is it for this episode. So let's do a quick recap. We've got the cute little Mumble Penguin family. We did a weathered telephone booth and floating hot air balloon cows. And then we did some candy, sweets, and cakes in billowing smoke. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!